A status update late February 2024. So, well, in case you don't know me, well, I am just some guy on the internet, and I do these videos every month talking about what I have done this month. Well, not every month, sometimes every month, sometimes less often, sometimes more often. And in this case, it was more or less a month since I did the previous one, like a month and a week, month and 2 weeks, more or less. And yeah, I felt like I needed to update me in this kind of, I don't know, journally purpose or something. So, since the last status update, you can see there's like the past one, January 19th, 2024. Today is January 27th. And yeah, since then, I am still working very little. I wake up late and go to bed pretty late. So I'm going to bed at like 4 or 5 a.m. every day and waking up at like 1 p.m. lately. So I barely work, like half an hour at most, or maybe 1 hour at most, many days half an hour. So compared to like 4 months, 5 months ago, I'm working very, very little. And yeah, I think that influences a bit the rest of it, because that means that more of my hours that I am awake late at night, and late at night I do certain activities only, right? So for example, very late at night I don't usually do things like, for example, clean my room. I can't clean my room late at night, so my room gets a little bit more disordered, right? Or I can't, like, I am more tired, so I'm less eager to like build things, or yeah, or I am like, I don't tend to edit video, or well, I don't edit a lot of video in general, but those things, I don't know. I don't read, for example. I read less. Sometimes I used to read, but at night as well. But now I don't. I watch more things, right? I tend to watch more things. So I watch more YouTube. I watch TV shows. I watched True Detective, I think. So yes, since let's overview the videos that I have uploaded. Since the 19th of January, I have uploaded some videos. Yeah. Oh yeah, I watched True Detective. I watched the whole Mission Impossible series. So I watched relatively a big amount of movies, I could say, and TV shows, like TV episodes. I tried to get hired. I will talk about this now as well. And I made a couple of videos on a newer, not new style, but on a newer style. So trying to get shorter videos instead of longer ones. And they didn't work, but I don't know. I did it. I did them, a couple of them. Then yeah, streaming and videos. I've also been streaming, so I think regarding that I have been pretty consistent, right? So I am streaming right now. I've streamed basically every day for like a month, maybe skipping a couple of days, right? 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and 4 weeks, and a month. To the job board, the stream, boom, and yeah, more or less about here. It must be. So I have streamed basically every day, which is interesting. I like streaming. Right now, because I am recording, I am not reading the stream, but I can read, for example, that Hanio said, "Lol, I didn't know you do this regularly." Here, regarding my my status updates, and yeah, I do them regularly. Not that regularly, but yeah, pretty. I should do a playlist of all of my status updates. But yeah, late January. The previous one was in October. Then the previous one was end of summer. So it's kind of a couple per season maybe, and then some are more monthly. But yeah, back when I was doing the 100 video series, for example, when I had that in mind, I did them more often because it was a pretty easy video to do in the 100 video series. But now, less. And yeah, I think that's basically more or less what's happened since the last update. And okay, yes. Then another thing that has happened, right, was me trying to get a job. The video that I uploaded here, writing my skill set, was a passive way of doing it, right? It was me trying to get something, like, yeah, a passive way, like putting something out there and receiving incoming. Didn't work. And I did like 3 or 4 more not passive ones. So for example, if you go to my channel, we can see all of these. No one replied to all of these. 4 or 3 or 4, I'm not sure. No one replied. Then to this one, she didn't watch it either. And then another one from January. This one, she replied and all that, but she ghosted me. So I have so far I have been ignored every time, except one time when I haven't been ignored and I have been replied to, but then she didn't show up to the meeting. And then I have one which I sent yesterday that is pending. I have a meeting arranged, so that is good. I got an answer, and yeah, we will see. This one was half passive, half active, because it was not on me. It was, I got tagged on Twitter by it, like by someone who I follow, a mutual. So yeah, it is half passive, half active. But I did record the active application for it, and that is pending, right? So that is how the job thing has evolved since this January 19th, and that one is pre-January 19th, this application, but I talk about it in that video. That one was resolved to ghosted. We will see how it evolves in the future, if I try to get de-ghosted or what. Yo, he was recording. Okay, fuck it. I mean, this is going into the video. Yo, he is recording an update video for himself, so he will probably not read chat right now. Yes, that is true. I fucked it up right now, but oh well. And yes, then next thing, I don't know. After all, if I'm doing the status update live, it makes sense that I keep all this, right? It's still 10 minutes long, so it's not longer than many others. So I think it's reasonable. If I cut this part, it will be like 45 seconds shorter. Not that important. Then I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, here, for example, in my status updates, I always mention something like. Oh yeah, but that is afterwards, right? So now the next thing, right? Things on my mind. So. Oh yeah, okay. Now this one was like something that happened since the last update, I would say, and this is my tree harvester arc. I got into tree harvesters a little bit in this period of time between the past and this current status update, and it was interesting. I I was pretty happy, I guess, right? It was something that moved me, and that got me, like, gave me energy to continue, and that, I don't know, lit up, that made me come alive, as Visa said it, right? I think I feel more alive when I'm pursuing something that interests me like that, right? That catches my attention, and I have the opportunity to pursue it. And I think I pursued it to a satisfactory degree, right? I didn't do everything I set out to do for that, but I think I did enough for me to feel like I did something, I don't know, out of my, not sure if comfort zone or whatever, but something out there, right? Like going the extra mile. Because I watched a lot of videos about it. I got a lot of information, but I also contacted someone on LinkedIn, right? And I got an answer from him. So that was a nice experience. And yeah, I don't know. I wanted to reflect, well, not to reflect, but to say in my status update that happened. And yeah, I thought that was interesting because, for example, in the past video, I say that I am less moody but still sad sometimes, and I don't know. I wouldn't say that the base definition has shifted, right? I would say that is something that's true, right? I still get sad, and I mentioned that I cried sometimes. I will randomly cry sometimes, and that is still true, but I am not as moody. I would agree with that as well. And like, if I was less moody before and I am now less moody than before, right? That means that I am quite less moody compared to the state previous to that, right? So yeah, I wanted also to mention that, right? Even though I have been rejected like 6 times or whatever the fuck, and well, or ghosted or whatever. I don't even know if it counts as a rejection, but yeah, even though I have been ignored a lot of times and all that, I don't know. It hasn't affected me that much, I would say, right? Compared to how it could have affected me. So yeah, that's good, I guess, right? Then, okay, so now some things in my mind that have been in my mind lately, and yeah, I mentioned the curiosity, well, the tree harvester thing before, but I don't know. I want to still talk about how I think about that often, about that anecdote of the tree harvesting thing in particular, and me getting like my attention conquered by the tree harvesting thing, and also about kind of the meta layer above, right? About the fact that curiosity, kind of being able to pursue curiosity, lights me up, and it's interesting, right? And that is something I think about, right? I encounter a lot of things like that, right? So, for example, this channel that I showed a couple of videos ago and on stream a couple of times is interesting, right? Because it kind of, like, when I wrote a comment like that, a comment in this channel, it makes me tap into that sense of curiosity, right? It's like, what's going on in her life, right? And also in some other videos that I have watched, I see this vibe, right? I see this, people are actually, like, I don't know, interested in things and thinking about things and that kind of stuff, right? So yeah, I think about that. Then another thing I think about is money. I still think about money all the time, and yeah, I talked about what am I doing about it on the job part, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like I am not doing enough, right? And it's a bad feeling, but I don't know what to do with it, right? I don't know what more to do. I don't know. Then Dinesh, yeah, I don't know what more to do because there is a part of me that kind of agrees with Dinesh here, right? I saw this tweet today, and Dinesh, he's like, well, the context is that Visa is thinking about his talking points or whatever, and someone asks him about the focus on what you want focus on what you want to see more of, which is something that Vista says all the time, and he says that he actually took it from Dinesh. And yeah, Dinesh talks about it here, right? So he is like worth noting that the hardest part of focus on what you focus on what you want to see more of is knowing what you want to see more of. So really the first thing to focus on is what you should be focusing on the rest of your time. What's the highest order bit in your own life? Epistemology about yourself. And I am here. Like I am still in this stage, right? And like my relationship to money is tied to this whole thing, right? I have some things that I like to tap into, right? For example, the curiosity part, right? Or yeah, for example, I feel like I have already explored too much of what I want to see more of without actually materially doing it, spending money, for example, right? Because I don't have the money to spend on to spend or whatever in those things, right? So I have gotten as far as I can in the thinking about it perspective. In my this is my feeling, like how it feels in my body to be like this. And right now I am feeling bad about money because of this, right? I feel like in order to learn more about myself, I should start getting around in the world and all of this in a more sustainable way, right? Which is basically having money and that kind of thing, right? So that is on my mind lately. So yeah, that's basically what I'm thinking about. And okay, a couple of things that I'm thinking about as well are hobbies. Let me pause. Okay, so I've been thinking about hobbies because of this, right? Well, not only because of this, right? More about this, but since yesterday I thought of this tweet, right? If I could go back in time and tell myself something, Bitcoin aside, right? It would be to use the massive amount of free time that I have before I was married or had kids. I just squandered it. And I am squandering my free time as well, right? I like to do it, but I also, want to stop squandering it as much, right? And he said specifically there's this of what would you use it on? And he said that all those hobbies that I pointed on that I would get to one day, right? And yeah, I think I want to do this as well, right? Now that I have time, the problem is that when you have time, people are always telling you something like get at work, get a job, or something, right? But I don't know. I'll balance those activities, right? And I want to incorporate some of the things that I miss, like I don't know, music or painting and those kind of things, right? Things that don't take a lot of money, but that do take time to get better at. And yeah, that's another thing on my mind, basically. Okay, so this is a new section in my journal, my status updates, and these questions for my future self, and I'm going to compare. Like my answers right now, I'm going to answer a little bit and then compare with the answers that I give in the next video. And the next video, the task is to answer these questions and maybe to either say these new ones again or to give new questions. I don't know. We will see what happens. So, how do you feel about your money situation right now? Bad. I don't have money and this is pretty annoying. I would like to have more. And yeah, I think about it often and I feel very limited by that. How do you feel about your job, employment situation, daily activities right now? I actually like more or less what I do, but the money limitations come in, so I have like I am limited in what I do by the money part. So, for example, I like streaming, I like making videos, I like watching shit on YouTube. The problem is that I watch too much and do very little. So I would like to watch a bit less and do more things related to the things I watch. So, for example, if I watch a travel video, I would like to also travel. Or if I watch a video about tree harvesters and contact a guy about tree harvesters or whatever, I would like to be able to be like, okay, let's go somewhere, like, I don't know, let's go to the university and learn about these books or something like this and eat in Madrid, the city or whatever. I don't know. So to be able to have like expenses, to be able to like expense money like this. So I like my activities, but I would like to give a little bit of a spice, right? I'd like to spend less time on the computer and more time doing things or like recording things outside or seeing things. I don't know, that kind of thing. Hobbies. Art pastimes you'd like to learn or practice. This is handy for this, and I have a list of things that I want to do. I want to take get a motorcycle license and many more licenses. I want to learn more languages, Japanese, German, some others. But my way, aka privately tutored. I want to keep learning piano and maybe composition a little bit. And maybe, and continue improving guitar, I would say. Dancing. I have 2 or 3 styles in mind that I would like to learn to do. Singing, especially dubbing, modulation related. 3D modeling. I'd like to learn 3D modeling. I'm not sure. And the purpose for 3D modeling would be to make videos as well, right? To make videos related not to 3D modeling, but to incorporate 3D things into the video making component. For example, if I record a car, I would like to be able to get the 3D model of an engine and to superpose it in the car so that it looks kind of transparent or something. Right? I would like to be able to do these things a little bit. I'd also like to take a second crack at math, maybe more mathy this time, proofs and that type of shit, but this is not a recent concern. I'm not sure if these are classes, but posture, hair care, these are all contingent on money as well. Climbing, I would like to climb again. Bouldering, I have only bouldered, I have never climbed, and I would like to both climb and also keep like boulder again. Parachuting, see I mentioned parachuting here. I want a fuck ton of licenses. I want to get every license basically. This is a project I have. I'm going to start soon. Well, not soon. Well, maybe soon. And I would also like to take painting back again, like this kind of traditional Chinese painting. I know already some of it, but I would like to, get back to speed again on this one. Make time for this, I would say. To fuel another part of your life or to improve the abilities you already have. I think that some of these I mentioned, I would like to fuel some other parts. For example, the motorcycle license, I think I need something like this. I need something physical in the real world, that connects me to the road and that lets me, I don't know, experience the world in a different way, right? And to improve the things that I already have, I would like to improve languages, music, and basically those are, I think, the main things in my mind. I also have coding in mind, but like I'm not sure what the goal for that would be, right? I don't have like my will to build things. Coding is not that present right now. How do you feel about the environment you live in right now? In case you don't know, this is my room. So, it's not like I don't know, it is a pretty messy environment, right? And it is not an environment that leads me to be like, I can do this and move, right? Or I can experience other places freely. And it's also not an environment that, that makes me think like, this is, I know where things are here, right? I have a lot of things, but I don't know where they are, right? I don't know how to tap into them. And I don't feel like I have them organized in a way, right? I'm not an organization freak, and I like I like having things, right? I don't want to get rid of things. I don't want to declutter in that way. I want to keep all the things that I have, but in a way that is more accessible to me and that inspires me and all this, right? And that I can, in a way that the things that I have around me are more accessible to me and don't feel like that I have to look for them in that fucking pile of trash or that all this, right? And how do you feel about following your intuition recently? I don't know. This question, I'm not sure why I put it in because it's a hard question, and I don't know. I feel like, for example, for the job thing and for the money thing and all of those things, I think that I am following my intuition too much, maybe, and I am doing too little like standard procedure type things, right? I think that I am going too much on intuition, but I don't know. I think it will pay off. I think it will pay off. I think I am right. I think my intuition is right in that sense. And in other ways, and then there are other aspects where I think my intuition is probably failing me or something. For example, I have not talked in this whole status update. I have not talked about like romantic things or something like this, or social things, and those are probably the places where my intuition fails me the most, or something, or where I am most hindered, or something. So these are some questions. Let me see if I can find more questions. Okay, so I added 3 more questions. What really makes me happy? What really makes me happy? And I think that the answer that I could get from this video, like if I had to sum this video up in one word or a couple of words, it would be like curiosity and like, 2 things actually. Following curiosity and exploring things that make me curious or whatever, and feeling connected to the world in a way, right? So, for example, streaming feels me connected to the world, right? Seeing people talk here makes me feel connected to the world in a way, and following curiosity in a way that contacts other people and all that makes me feel connected to the world. So I like that. I would say that is what really makes me happy right now. Who really makes me happy? I don't know. This is a hard question, probably. I think my friends, the friends that I hang out with on Saturdays, because lately I'm only hanging out on Saturdays, make me happy. A friend I play PUBG with that is going to come soon makes me happy as well. I think random people online make me happy in a way. I don't know. Maybe it's a weird answer, but it is true. And sometimes my parents make me happy as well. And people on Twitter make me happy as well. Some people on Twitter, sometimes. So maybe not answer to the really question, but I don't know, an answer. And then, how is my health? I don't know. I feel like I am walking a lot less lately, so I feel like my health is somewhat getting worse. I am noticing that my back is pretty bad all the time, and I have pretty bad posture. But I don't know. Overall, I am in decent health, I would say. But I should probably watch that and maybe get a little bit more active and watch the back thing. And I feel like when I get up too quickly, I get like, I don't know how to say it in English, ido. Like, a little bit like that, right? I don't like actually lose consciousness, but I feel that I start losing consciousness. Like if I get up really quickly. So that is something that concerns me. And that's basically it. I think these are all the questions that I have going to leave for my future self. And goodbye.